In this section, what we want to look at doing is graphing or plotting some points in a rectangular coordinate system. Typically what I'll do is I'll draw some axes, and these are called axes. I have an x-axis, and the vertical one is a vertical or a y-axis. In the middle, I have something called the origin, and then some tick marks that represent whatever scale that you're working with. I'll just make these units ones. Also, too, we describe which quadrant we're talking about at times as well. So this quadrant over here, we describe as quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And that helps us just to communicate back and forth. Hey, what quadrant are you talking about? Well, we're talking about quadrant 3. We all know where that's at. Over on the right, I have 5 points, or 5 coordinate pairs that we want to go ahead and plot. The first item in that coordinate pair, in this case the -3, that represents the x-coordinate, and the second number represents the y-coordinate. So point A is at the location -3 and 5. So to find that, I'm going to go to -3 on the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, and then up 5 points, 3, 4, 5. So in quadrant 2 is point A at the location -3, 5. Point B is at 2 and -4, over 2 and down 4. C is at the point 5 and 0. So the first coordinate tells me where on the x-axis do I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go over +5. However, the y-coordinate is 0. So I go up 0 or nowhere. So it's right there on the x-axis. Point D is at the point -5 and -2. Backwards 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down 2. And that's located in the third quadrant. Item E is at the point 0 and 4. Well, the first one tells me how far left or right on the x-axis I go. 0, I don't go anywhere, but I go up 4. And lastly, point F is at the point 0, 0. Over 0, up 0, I'm right there on the origin of this rectangular coordinate system.